Prestige is a film directed by Christopher Nolan, as well as being co-written by him and his brother Jonathan Nolan, and the film follows Robert Angier and Alfred Borden, who are rival stage magicians in London at about the end of the 19th century. These men are so obsessed with creating the best stage illusion that has ever been seen that they engage in a competitive one-upmanship, and during their rivalry, things tend to happen. I mean, people even die during their feud. And one thing that I love about this is that it's not a normal competition, like rivalry, where, you know, both people want to one-up each other, but they still have respect for each other. They actually want to see the other suffer. Hugh Jackman portrays Robert Angier, otherwise known as the Great Danton, who is a more professional magician than his rival, focusing heavily on showmanship. Besides his performance earlier this year in Logan, I do actually believe that this is Jackman's greatest role so far. He just disappeared in this role. Sure, I'm gonna always recognize him as Hugh Jackman, but it's just because he has that kind of face, but in this film, he became Angier. And then we have Christian Bale, who portrays Alfred Borden, who, compared to Angier, is more of a working-class magician, and you could actually argue that he's the better magician altogether. This role was done after Bale had already worked with Nolan on Batman Begins, and this is his best role since American Psycho and The Machinist. It's a very underrated role of his, actually. I really wish I could actually say something about his performance, because if I say anything, this will actually truly spoil some amazing plot points in this film. So I must actually skip over the details. Just watch the movie, you'll understand. We also have great performances from Michael Caine, who I actually believe in this movie gives the best performance that he's ever given in a Nolan film. Scarlett Johansson, Rebecca Hall, and Andy Serkis. But the best supporting role in this film is Nikola Tesla, played by Ziggy Stardust himself, David Bowie. Oh my god, David fucking Bowie. Now, I'm not just saying that because I love him because I'm a fan of his music. I've always loved seeing him pop up in just smaller roles, and I really enjoyed his performance in Labyrinth as the Goblin King. But Tesla is the definitive Bowie performance. He is just so great in this film. He truly disappeared in the role. I didn't even recognize him until it was pointed out to me. I was just waiting to see him because I knew that he was in the movie, and when I couldn't find him, somebody had to look it up for me. The idea behind the film is actually pretty intriguing. The film begins with one of the characters explaining the three-act structure of how a magician's performance works. The pledge, the turn, and finally, the prestige. Roll credits? And what's so special about that, aside from how it plays into the stage shows, Nolan takes that same concept and implements it into the actual three-act structure. And he directs this film as though he were a magician. He will show us things in plain sight, but you're not watching closely enough because he uses something to distract the audience from looking at what they shouldn't be seeing just yet. He uses things like great performances, very well constructed dialogue, and even the cinematography to make the audience miss certain things that are in plain sight, so that, you know, he doesn't reveal things just yet. And he does this all, as I said, like a magician would. And it's so much fun to rewatch because after you understand everything that happened in the film, you just want to go back and see if you can spot any of the hints to what's going on. And I've watched this film 4 times since July, and it just gets better every single time. And to really pull off this magic act of his, Nolan once again utilizes the fractured narrative, which he has done in many movies from The Following, even to this year's Dunkirk, but people would say that he mastered the technique with his film Memento, which I still have not seen yet. I still need to get onto that. One aspect that I loved about the feud between Borden and Angier was seeing that those they loved and One aspect that I loved about the entire feud between these two magicians was seeing those they loved and cherished and how their obsession with beating one another affected their personal lives, and nobody comes out of this unscathed. Their sacrifices cost them everything, just not in the way that you would think. All in all, the script is fantastic, and despite having a couple of major differences from the novel, Christopher Priest, who was the author for the original novel The Prestige, actually felt that Nolan's script was in ways better than his own book. There's very little CGI effects in this movie, but when it's used, it looks fantastic. But the film mostly relies on practical effects, and it relishes in that fact. And the cinematography is outstanding. As I said before, the use of cinematography does help out with a lot of the storytelling, especially in the parts where Nolan teases the little small hints as to what the story is really trying to convey. David Julin, I really hope that I'm actually pronouncing that right. He composed the score for this film, and it's great. There's a definite sense of mystery and foreboding to this score. It's unlike any other soundtrack that it puts the emphasis on the atmosphere rather than melody in general. I honestly think that there couldn't have been a better score. To recap, The Prestige is probably Nolan's most underrated film, with amazing performances, a great story with a unique form of storytelling, great effects, beautiful and advantageous cinematography, and a beautifully simple score. And I don't know why people don't talk about this movie more. And I never even heard of it until about maybe a month or two ago. I heard about it when my favorite critic on YouTube, Chris Stuckman, reviewed it for his Christopher Nolan series, and when Nostalgia Critic did a Labyrinth review, and he made a bunch of David Bowie dick jokes, and he said something along the lines of, "I'm gearing up for The Prestige, would you like to see my Tesla coil?" Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to give The Prestige 5 out of 5. This film is a masterpiece. Thank you guys so much for watching and just listening to me ramble once again. So what did you guys think of The Prestige? Do you love it? Hate it? You're indifferent? Haven't seen it yet? What were its strengths? Its weaknesses? Leave your opinions in the comment section down below because I want to know your thoughts. I welcome new perspectives. And seriously guys, The Prestige is on Netflix. Go watch it. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already for more reviews and content. There's always more to come. And for other ways to help support the channel, please check out in the description down below. Also, on the Facebook page for this channel, I am actually doing a poll, if you guys didn't already know. It's going to be going on for like the next week or so, and it's because I had a long list of movies that I wanted to review, but I keep getting stumped on which one I should do next. So I actually made a poll, and I would really love your guys' input. This movie was already on there, but I did actually find really the inspiration to review this one, so you don't need to vote for The Prestige. And if you already have, then, well, here it is for you. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you guys once again for watching, and farewell until the next video. Bye.